Good night, sweetheart. It's time for bed.
Do I have to, Mama?
Just listen to your mother.
But who's tucking you in?
The wolf.
No.
The bear.
No.
My nanny. Yay!
Now up we go.
Faster, faster. You're a train. You're a train.
Daisy Armstrong. Now, straight into bed and no more nonsense.
All right.
Close your eyes. Night, night.
Who are you? Go away. Nanny!
Come.
No, I won't come, Mama, Daddy.
Good evening. The story you're about to witness is one of romance and tragedy, primal murder, and the urge for revenge. What better way to spend a pleasant evening together, huh? From the beginning, it was an odyssey of deception and trickery. One minute, I could see the light, like the beam of a train engine hurtling past. The next, all was darkness. And the thread that I pulled came away in my fingers and led to nothing. It was the greatest case of my career. But who am I to say? Modesty forbids it. It certainly was the most difficult I have ever encountered, and it made me question the very deepest values I have held since I was a young man. It began in the exotic city of Istanbul. I planned to vacation there several days after a trying case that was on my nerves. But things began changing the moment I stepped into the world-famous Ducat Lion Hotel, where the enormity of the prices was matched only by the self-esteem of the waiters. My name, incidentally, is Hercule Poirot, and I am a detective.
This way, monsieur. I have a beautiful table that I'm sure you will enjoy. It is monsieur's first time in Istanbul.
No, that is correct. How did you know?
Oh, I have my ways, monsieur, my little observations. In this business, one needs to be a detective, like that famous Poirot fellow who comes from France.
I believe he's Belgian.
No, from France. I know him personally.
Ah.
Your table, monsieur.
Merci.
Mary? Mary! Oh, there you are.
James, at last, where have you been?
Oh, I'm not that late, am I?
Of course you are. You're always late, and I was terrified we'd miss the train. It would ruin everything.
I was just exploring. I've never been in Istanbul before, and I quite adore all this Eastern nonsense.
Well, I don't. I'd like to leave right now and get it over with.
I wish to hell you were through all of this. You deserve better, you know.
No one should see us like this. Not until it's all behind us. Besides, I think we're being observed by that funny little man over there.
What? Him? It's just some foreigner. He probably doesn't even speak English.
Shall we order? I'm starving.
Not here. I found a cute little place just round the corner, and I'm sure the food is 10 times better.
But we can't be late for the train. We can't miss it.
It won't be late, I promise. Now stop fussing. Get up, let's hurry.
Yoo-hoo! Excuse me, waiter. You did a very nice job, and I'm leaving you something extra because of it. Excuse me, young man. Are you an American?
Yes, I am.
I thought so. I can tell from your passport. Us Americans have to stick together, you know, especially in a place like this. I can't even pronounce half the things on this menu. Can you believe it? And what's a falafel? I keep seeing them on the street, and they look like you could play hockey with them.
I believe they're made of fried chickpeas.
Well, there you go. Who knew? Some people will fry anything. Now, listen, I don't mean to snoop, but I see your train ticket there on the table, and I wonder, are they providing a bus to the station?
I don't think so. I believe the hotel is a private car.
Well, don't you worry. I'll ask and find out. As the Bible says, if Moses doesn't know the answer, ask the concierge. Now, I must run. I think I'm going to find that odd little man with the silly mustache, and I don't think it's real.
I hope that the food in the Summer establishment is up to your usual standards.
What's this? Mon Dieu, it's Monsieur Boo!
My friend.
What, mon ami, what are you doing here?
What am I doing here? This is my city. I live here.
Of course, I'm a fool.
I run Wagonly, the greatest train company in the entire world, and the central office is this hotel. Garçon, This meal is on me. Please charge my office.
Oh, no.
Ah, oui. It will give me pleasure. You're my guest here. So tell me, what are you doing here? You are solving a crime, eh?
No. I did that last week in Syria. It was a bad affair. An army officer, a missing Czech, and a beautiful woman. It did not end well. The man was guilty, that was certain. But perhaps because I pressed the man too hard to admit his guilt. It was unfortunate in the extreme, and yet I believe I did nothing wrong.
Of course you did nothing wrong. If you break the law, you must pay the price. That is what you have told me.
That is what I live by.
Now, tell me, you are staying here at the hotel?
I was hoping to, I was going to play the tourist, but at the desk I got the telegram from Scotland Yard begging me to return at once. So I have asked the concierge to book me a ticket for tonight on your famous Orient Express.
Oh, there will be no problem. And the best news is, I will be joining you, for I go to Lausanne tonight on business.
Same name at me!
Pardon, messieurs, but the concierge said to tell you that there are no more first-class tickets for the express tonight. It is sold out.
No.
Attends, it is my train and it is never sold out at this time of year. That is ridiculous.
It must be a party or a convention, perhaps.
Well, you tell the concierge to find a berth for Monsieur Perrault. He is my personal friend.
But, monsieur...
The number 7 is always available. It is held in reserve. Now, go tell him.
Right away, monsieur.
Merci.
It is nothing. A gesture. Now, you see this menu? Throw it away. Tonight we shall sit on the train together just like old times, and we will dine like kings.
The food on the train, it is edible.
Monsieur Poirot! You stab me in the heart. I am rising on the ground at your feet. It is not a mere train that will carry you tonight. It is a legend. It runs like no other vehicle on the earth. The fittings are from Paris, the paneling from Venice, the plates are from Rome, the taps from New York, the best food, the best beds, the best pillows, the best feathers inside the pillows. It is poetry on wheels, and Lord Byron himself could not write it better. Monsieur, prepare yourself. In 1 hour, I will meet you on the platform of the Orient Express.
Messieurs et mesdames, le Orient Express partira dans 20 minutes du quai numéro 10. Voulez faire attention au marché, soyez prudents et bon voyage.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Orient Express will depart in 20 minutes from platform 10. Please watch your step and have a safe trip.
Greta, put those suitcases down. You are driving me mad.
No, princess, do not have concern. They're not so heavy as they look, I'm sure.
They are extremely heavy.
Princess Dragomirov, how lovely to see you. Please, let me help you, madame.
It is mademoiselle. I am not married, except to God Almighty who lives in heaven.
Greta, not now. This is Greta Olsen.
I am missionary and I work in Africa with little babies.
I have agreed to pay her way if she will assist me as I travel to Paris.
But your usual companion, Miss Schmidt.
She is very sick.
The doctors are calling it a cardiac event, but she is German, so it is very unlikely to slow her down.
I will pray for Miss Schmidt and God will protect her.
Greta, that is enough. Get on the train.
Compartment 11, Princess, as usual. And Miss Olsen, you will be sharing with Miss Mary Debenham in compartment 4.
I'm Miss Debenham.
Ah, mademoiselle, you will be sharing with Miss Olsen here.
I will do my very best to not be disturbing you.
I'm sure we'll get along just fine.
Hector! Here, sir. I'm right here.
Is the luggage on board?
Yes, sir, it is. And I checked this morning for any mail that may have arrived overnight, and this came in, apparently.
God damn it.
I know, it's awful. I mean, just look at this. Prepare to die?
Keep your voice down.
You should call the police.
None of their business.
But these are dangerous. This is the third one you've had in a week. It's good you have a gun.
Would you keep your voice down?
Excuse me. Can you direct me to compartment number 7, please?
Number 7, Monsieur, I believe there must be some mistake.
Oh, let us hope not. I must get to London by the end of the week. My name is Hercule Poirot.
Hercule Poirot, the detective.
Well, what do you know? Hercule Poirot. I've heard of you. You're famous.
Merci, monsieur.
Ratchet. Samuel Ratchet's the name. Import-export. I may have some business for you.
I am afraid I am on vacation, monsieur.
You'll change your mind once you hear the price.
Monsieur Ratchet, you are in compartment 2.
I know where I'm going, thank you. We'll discuss this inside.
Au revoir! Monsieur Poirot, alors! You have beat me to the gate. You have met Michel. He is from Paris and he is the best conductor in the company.
Merci, monsieur, but your friend here says that he's number 7, and I'm afraid that it's taken. Indeed, the entire first-class coach is full.
That is incredible!
I know, monsieur. All the world elects to travel tonight.
You will put him in number 1, please. It is my personal compartment. I will find something in one of the other carriages.
No, I cannot take your bed, mon ami.
I insist. It is done. Michel, you will make the arrangements?
I am in your debt.
Now tell me, have all the passengers checked in with you?
Not yet. We are still waiting for Mrs. Hubbard and the Count and Countess Adreni.
I hear the Countess is one of the greatest beauties of Europe. She is Hungarian, I believe, a commoner who became a doctor, and when she married the Count, she became royalty.
I see her now.
Countess Elena Adreni, welcome. I am Monsieur Book of the Wagon League.
I am delighted to see you.
Your reputation precedes you, madame. May I present my friend, Monsieur Hercule Poirot.
The famous detective. That is being wonderful. I've read about you in the papers, monsieur, and I admire you greatly.
Negon Kedvesh.
Esas Igashan.
Negon Avenda.
You speak Hungarian beautifully.
Oh, not as well as you speak English.
May I help you with your bag, madame?
Oh, no. Tis nothing at all.
And your husband, the Count, is coming?
Alas, he cannot join me this time. But since I am visiting my mother, it works out nicely. He does not like her. Monsieur Poirot, I look forward to hearing of your wonderful adventures.
And I look forward to telling you about them.
Compartment 12, Countess.
I think you are in love, my friend.
I will not discount this possibility.
Is this that Orient Express I keep hearing about? Doesn't look that impressive, at least not from here.
You, Mrs. Hubbard.
This is Helen Caroline Peabody Wolfson Van Pelt Hubbard, if you please. From the beautiful garden state of Minnesota. My first husband, Mr. Peabody, was a very good soul, but the poor man had no talent for longevity. And I shouldn't say poor, because he did very nicely for himself, thank you very much. My second husband was a Mr. Wolfson, who I loved rather dearly, but he loved a lot of women. So I traded up and I got a Van Pelt. And then I caught him in bed with that redhead from the Waldorf who did his nails. Then at last I found Mr. Hubbard, and I call him my little white knight for saving me from a life of bridge games and watery cocktails at the Minneapolis Country Club.
And is Mr. Hubbard joining you?
No, Mr. Hubbard is not joining me. Mr. Hubbard and I traveled together once. He said it raised his blood pressure. I don't know why. So now I do it for the both of us. Do you like to travel?
I travel every day.
Then you and I should exchange notes sometime.
Compartment 3.
Is that yours or mine?
Yours, madame.
I do hope it's comfy.
I've never had a complaint, madame.
I'm sure you haven't.
She is quite the character.
Oh, they are all characters. If I was Balzac, I would write a novel about all of them.
And to think, these strangers are brought together in the closest of quarters, eating and sleeping under a single roof.
And then at the end they part, never to see each other again.
Unless...
Unless what?
Unless there is an accident or something fatal occurs.
Monsieur Poirot, why do you say such a thing?
Forgive me, it is my profession. And I sense something is wrong. There is a tension among these passengers of yours. One of them does not fit in, and it makes me frightened.
Oh, monsieur, no more business, please. You must now succumb to nothing but pleasure. And prepare yourself to step aboard the Pride of the Company Wagonly for the most memorable journey of your entire life.
Well, ain't this the bee's knees? Maybe I'll just move in for good.
This way, please, and watch your step.
Holy cow, is it snowing out there?
We get a lot of it this time of year, I'm afraid. Last year we got stuck in the snow for 7 days.
7 days. Was there liquor on board?
There's always plenty.
Whew! I can breathe again. Don't get me wrong, I also eat solid food as long as it's been cooked in bourbon. Now, as they say in the movies, lead on, Macduff.
Greta, you must keep up. Keep up! We must be settled in before the train starts moving.
I have to confess to you, Princess, that I am not liking trains since I am a little girl. They are feeling very tight to me, like clothing that is wrong size and is squeezing my bosom. Oh! May God forgive me.
Don't be silly. Trains are wonderful.
Also, I'm not liking the strangers and the clickety-clackety. But we will be sitting together, yeah? That part is good. Once in Africa, I am on train, and there's crying and noise and animals. Oh! And I look up from my book, and sitting next to me, right on the seat, is very old goat. It's true, old goat. He is like my companion. And on this trip that we are taking together right now, I think it will not be so different, yeah?
Oh, Mr. Poirot, slow up. I want to talk about that proposition.
No, I am afraid now is not a good time.
Sure it is. Sit down. I'll be quick, I promise.
I am afraid.
Sit down.
Eh bien, proceed.
Mr. Poirot, I have a job for you.
I take on few new cases.
You'll take on this one, I guarantee it.
And why is that?
Because I'm talking big money. Mr. Poirot, I have an enemy.
I would guess you have many enemies.
And what is that supposed to mean?
You are successful, n'est-ce pas? Successful people have many enemies.
That's right. Exactly. You see, I've been getting some threatening letters lately. And I want another pair of eyes to do some snooping around. That's what you do, isn't it, snooping? Of course, I can take care of myself. But I'll pay you $5,000. How does that sound?
No.
All right, 10 for a few days' work.
I am not for sale, monsieur. I have been very fortunate in my profession. And so now I take on only such cases that interest me. And frankly, you do not interest me.
You want me to grovel, is that
I
it?
want nothing, monsieur, except to leave.
No, pardon me. Sorry.
Hey, you're that countess, aren't you?
That is correct.
Well, you're awfully pretty. And from what I hear, you were a commoner, just like the rest of us, to start with.
That is also correct.
So does that mean you'll have a drink with me?
I am married, monsieur. My husband is having business elsewhere. Please excuse me.
Now, hold on.
Move out of the way, please.
You don't need to get so high and mighty.
If you do not move this second, I will scream.
Now, just wait a minute. You've already told me you're unattached at the moment. And we're on a train. So who's to know what goes on in some private apartment on this two-bit piece of...
Stay away from me!
Oh, Mr. Ratchet, I've been looking for you. I put your glass of wine next to your bed, and if you don't need anything else tonight, I thought I'd...
Shut up, Hector. Just shut up. Aha, my friends. I hope you're all settling in all right and enjoying yourselves. It won't be long now until... Not long at all. The journey begins, and I wish you both good luck and Godspeed.
Hello? Hello?
Oui, madame.
Michelle, could you bring me a bourbon, please? And put it on the rocks. The tap water's terrible.
Right away, madame.
And how about some nibbles?
Nibbles, madame?
Yeah, munchies, yummies, things to snack on while I drink my bourbon.
Oh, you mean like crisps, madame?
Yeah, like crisps. We call them nibbles in the Midwest. Have you ever nibbled on anything, Michelle?
I have not had that pleasure.
Well, you just bring me those crisps, okay? Over now. Not looking too bad there, kid. You're getting younger every day. Huh? Come on in here, come on in here. Alexander's Ragtime Band. Come on in here, come on.
Keep it down in there. It's the middle of the night.
Oh, shut up. Who asked you?
Sir, what is it?
Will you tell that ridiculous woman to cut it out? It's time for bed.
Ridiculous woman. I heard that.
It's 12 at night.
Monsieur, if the lady just wants to sing a little song.
It's the middle of the night.
Listen, you. Just mind your own business.
This is my compartment.
If I want to have a good time, I'm going to do it. So just pipe down.
You're insane. Just get out.
What are you, a thug? You in the mafia? Michelle, I think he's dangerous. Oh my God, it's a gun. Michelle's got a gun.
It's not against the law, madame.
Get out this instant.
You must be insane.
I said get out.
Charleston, Charleston, North Carolina. Hey, Mr. Who's-Its, I hope you don't have a problem with this one. It would be downright un-American. So,
Ooh la la, it's going to be a long night.
She will ruin me. It is all over.
Someone should shoot her and put her out of her misery.
Orient Express to Belgrade Station. Orient Express to Belgrade Station. Emergency call number 867. Alert code blue. Hello, this is important. Do you read me? Are you there? Belgrade? Belgrade?
Orient Express. Pray, continue.
We've just left Sofia and the snow is becoming heavier by the minute. I'm getting concerned as we head into the mountains. Please prepare your rescue equipment in case of stoppage. Belgrade? Belgrade, can you hear me?
Oh, thank God, I thought you weren't coming.
What's the matter? I got your note.
I'll tell you what the matter is. I'm frightened because we shouldn't be doing this.
Now calm down.
I can't calm down. We have to stop this.
Now that's ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous. That's the matter with you military men. Can't show any real emotion. It's all stiff upper lip, no matter what's happening.
Mary, we're doing nothing wrong. You have to remember that.
I'm trying. I really am.
Better.
Yes, I think so.
There was a hill outside my home in Scotland, and I used to sit there for hours, watching the trains go by in the valley below. I knew they were going to exotic places, and I wanted to climb aboard in the worst way.
But you didn't.
No. I suppose I realized it would break my mother's heart.
You're a very good man.
She was a very good woman.
You know what the worst of it is with all this traveling we've been doing? We get no real privacy. It's maddening.
Well, I don't see anyone around at the moment. You?
No, I guess I don't. Oh, James.
Be strong.
I will, I promise.
Hi. I hope I'm not interrupting.
Of course you're interrupting, you moron. Are you blind?
Oh, I'm sorry. I can just go get a snack or a...
The train is stopping.
What is it? What's happening?
The snow. Look.
Not now.
We've hit a snowdrift.
Christ, that's all we need.
Shall I go take a look?
What good would that do?
James, he's right. Let him go.
Mary?
Go ahead, Mr. McQueen. We'll be right here waiting for you.
I'll be back in a minute.
Why did you send him off like that?
James?
Ah.
Help! Someone come quickly, help!
Mrs. Hubbard, what is it?
There was a man in my room. He ran off, I'm sure of it.
Which way did he go?
That way, just now.
But, madame, that is where I am coming from, and I saw no one.
Well, maybe he ducked into one of the compartments or something. I don't know. I'm telling you, I was lying in my bed, dead to the world. I open my eyes and I see this man going out the door, and he's wearing a uniform.
Where would he come from?
I don't know. He just suddenly appeared.
And he looked like?
I don't know. I barely saw him. 1 second he was there, and then he was gone. He was like a phantom.
But how is this possible?
How should I know?
Perhaps you were dreaming.
I was not dreaming. I know when I'm dreaming, my mouth gets dry. Does my mouth look dry to you?
And your door was locked?
Of course it was locked. The people have keys, don't they? I'll bet you have keys. Don't you own this company?
No, madame, I run the company and I will look into it.
Well, all right then. But hurry up about it. I don't feel safe.
She is keeping you busy, our Mrs. Havard.
You have no idea. She insists there was a man inside her compartment.
Michel, perhaps.
Impossible. He is helping the engineer at the moment.
Attends, we are not moving.
You are telling me.
A snowdrift.
We are stuck until men are sent from Belgrade to dig us out.
No.
I am sorry, my friend, but I promise you will be completely comfortable for as long as it takes.
Boom! Have you tracked him down yet?
Not yet, madame.
Well, keep trying.
Good night, my friend. I hope you get a good sleep tonight, because that will make one of us.
And hurry up about it.
I wonder.
Greta, slow down. It is I.
Oh, good morning, Princess.
Good
Good morning.
morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
My fault. Good morning. Mr. Ratchet? Sir? Sir, could you open the door, please? Hello?
Is something wrong?
He isn't answering, and it's locked.
Monsieur Roger, are you all right?
The passkey, perhaps.
Of course.
I hope he's not being killed.
Oh, there's a chain.
Hello?
You must force the door.
They will break and need repairing.
Quickly, do you not feel the air from the room? It is freezing. Quickly!
I do not like this at all. Dear God, it is awful.
Mr. Ratchet!
I cannot move.
Do you see his chest?
It is horrible.
I cannot believe it.
Do not touch anything. Not a speck.
It is human life. It is wrong.
Greta, calm down.
Princess, would you help Miss Olsen to her room, please?
Come along, Greta.
Holy cow!
There's never been such a thing in the history of my company. What are you doing?
I am examining the wounds. There appear to be 7. No, 8 stab wounds to the chest. Monsieur McQueen, when did you see him last?
Me? I don't know anything. He was fine last night when I put out his wine.
You are his secretary. What do you know about him?
Not very much. He never spoke about himself at all. Frankly, I think he was hiding something. But that's just an impression.
And why was that, do you think?
I think he was fleeing from America to get away from something, and I think he managed it until a few weeks ago.
And then?
He began to receive these threatening letters. They're in my room. Do you want to see them?
Yes, go quickly and ask the Countess to join me.
I'll be right back.
It is incredible for such a thing to happen on my train. Ooh, it's freezing in here.
You have observed the window.
It is open.
And what do you see outside?
Nothing.
Exactly. No footprints, no marks in the snow. So, no one entered or left through the window.
Then why is it open?
I assume to mislead the police when they arrive.
The police?
Of course the police. It is murder.
The Yugoslavian police department? Oh, no. We do not want them. You must solve the murder and then you tell them who did it.
I have interfered too much already.
But my company is at stake.
But mon ami.
Oh, just think what a Yugoslavian police inquiry would do to my company. People would say, oh no, I could not travel on the Orient Express. I could be murdered in my bed. And our sales would suffer and I would lose my clients.
But I am due in London in 3 days' time.
Well, then solve it in 2. You're a magician. I've seen you work. You listen, you look, you pester, you make yourself a pain in the backside, and then suddenly, poof, the case is solved like that.
The police would be angry.
The Yugoslavian police department? They are like the 3 stooges in a movie house. They poke each other in the eyes by accident. They would be thrilled not to have to do any work. If you saved them the job, they would put up a statue of you in the center of Zagreb.
I would need a plan of the coach.
Done.
And the passports and tickets of everyone on board.
Done.
Excuse me, but you have asked to see me. Oh, dear God.
Forgive me, Countess, but I understand you were trained as a physician, and I thought perhaps you could help me with the body.
I am happy to help.
I am afraid it is not a pleasant sight.
Oh, I have seen worse, believe me. I volunteered in the war.
Regard, the left side of his face is slightly red. Do you see?
I do. It has been slapped.
How do you know?
Because I slapped it. I count 8 separate wounds.
That is my count also. Can you estimate the time of death?
I would say it is between 8 and 10 hours ago, which puts the time at between midnight and 2 o'clock.
I am in the call.
It appears that the killer was wild, in a frenzy of some sort.
And regard, of the 8 stab wounds, 5 appear strong and 3 mere scratches. And wait, do you see? The wounds are from different directions. Do you see? I need a pencil.
Here.
Boom. Now watch closely. We place the pencil inside each wound and we push it gently.
Is this necessary?
Perhaps the man changed hands during the stabbing.
Or there were 2 assailants, one right-handed and one left-handed.
One strong, one weak.
That is not impossible. But now another question presents itself. Why did Mr. Ratchet not fight back when all the while he had this gun under his pillow?
Oh la la!
Alors, may I see it?
How did you find it?
He showed it to me yesterday, so I knew it was here somewhere.
It is a revolver, and I believe it is loaded.
Attention!
There is a safety switch. It is not on.
S'il vous plaît, mon ami. Have you never heard of the fatal accident? Oh, maman, I have a very good nose. Smell the glass of wine.
It smells of almonds. He was clearly drugged, which is why he
did not fight back. And what is that in his pocket? Voila!
It is a watch, and the face is smashed.
It is stopped at 1:15.
Aha! We have something important, yes? And the count is the time of death, and the countess said between midnight and 2. So there it is, it could not be clear. 1:15 is the time of death. It is obvious.
It is possible.
What do you mean it is possible? What's wrong with it?
I do not yet know what is wrong and what is right, because I am still investigating. Over here is a pipe cleaner, and here is a match, and here is another match of a different shape. There are dozens of clues in this room, and I am suspicious.
Oh, look at this on the floor.
It is a lady's handkerchief with the letter H on it.
And yet another clue. And who is this H? As in Hamlet?
That is the question. There's Mrs. Hubbard. Her first name is Helen.
And the princess?
Her name is Natalia Dragomira. And there's Mary Debenham, and Greta Olson, and James Arbuthnot, and Hector McQueen, and I am Constantine Book. And such a thing like this has never happened in the history of the Wagon League, and it will ruin my company, and I want you to solve it immediately!
You are upset?
I am very upset! A man has been murdered on my train!
It will be all right.
I hope so! I will smoke a cigarette.
That is a good idea.
Oh my God, just look at this ashtray! My people are lying down on
Stop! Do you not see? There is a piece of paper that has been burned. Perhaps to hide its contents. There seems to be something written on it. And what I need right now is a lady's hat box. Countess, do you keep such a thing?
Of course I do.
Oh la la. I greatly admire that creature book. Did you see? She did not ask me a single question. I asked for a hat box. She gets me a hat box. I ask for help with the body. She rolls up her sleeves. Suddenly, I have a desire to be young again. Do not move. I am getting a spirit lamp. I use it to heat the wax for my mustache.
And why do you need a spirit lamp?
because this time I am using science to catch the guilty party. Usually for me, it is the psychology, the mind of the killer. But not with these clues.
Why not?
Because I do not trust them. The handkerchief. Did a woman drop it, or did a man put it there and say, I will make this look like a woman's crime? Same thing with the pipe cleaner, eh? I will make this look like a man has done it. There is also the watch, the gun, the window, the wine, the match. There are too many clues, and I am unhappy.
Your hat box, monsieur.
Merci, madame.
Je vous en prie.
If I asked you to leave your husband and come away with me to Monte Carlo, what would you say?
I would say, give me 5 minutes, I need to pack.
I will get back to you. In the meantime, please, hold these. Merci. Excellent. Now, I believe that this paper is the remains of a note, perhaps a threat, that was bound in order to conceal the information it contained. Now, I want you to watch closely, for I believe some letters will appear, but only briefly, as the flame is striking them, and we must regard them while we can. Now, let us put it over the flame like so.
Remember little Daisy Armstrong?
But what does it mean?
There was a case in America 3 years ago.
4.
A little girl was murdered. It was in all the papers.
I do not remember.
It was a case most horrible.
Horrible.
A little girl named Daisy Armstrong was kidnapped from her home in Long Island, New York. And the ransom was set at $200,000, and it was paid.
But Daisy was not returned to her parents.
And 3 days later, the little girl was found dead, murdered, in the woods not far away from her home. The police caught the man, but he had ties to organized crime, and they got him off by changing the evidence. He would have been hanged if he had been found by the public, but he gave them the slip and disappeared.
But what has this got to do with Ratchet?
I think we can guess this, no?
Of course.
McQueen said that Ratchet was fleeing something in America and that he succeeded until the letters began arriving.
Then, do you think...
Ratchet's real name was Bruno Cassetti, the man who murdered little Daisy Armstrong.
Good God!
Excuse me, Mr. Poirot. I found the letters.
Bon, merci. And so it begins. Monsieur Bouc, please gather the passports of everyone in this carriage. Then send to me the princess and Mrs. Hubbard, Miss Olsen together. Then Monsieur McQueen, then Mrs. Hubbard. Now, quick, beat, before the trail is cold. It is clear that someone on this train committed this murder. And I will find out who it is. I promise you.
Monsieur Poirot, we are here out of a sense of duty. That is all. I do not like having my day disturbed.
Then let us begin immediately. Now, it says in your passport that you are Russian?
That is correct. I have been in exile since the Bolshevik dogs took over.
And your first name is?
Natalia.
And is this your handkerchief, mademoiselle?
Of course not. There is a letter H on it. My initials are N.D. Natalia Dragomirov.
Is it yours, mademoiselle?
No, I could not afford such a beautiful thing as this. It would be a sin.
May I ask each of you where you were last night between midnight and 2 o'clock?
I could not sleep. So at midnight, the Countess Andreni and I read a book together in my room, out loud. That is the very best way to get to sleep when you are anxious.
And what were you anxious about?
The Bolsheviks.
And what book did you read?
A Tale of Two Cities. It is very comforting.
And you, mademoiselle, what were you?
I was in my room with Miss Debenham, who is very nice. We talked from 12 o'clock until 2 o'clock, and then we slept. You can ask her.
And have either of you ever been to America?
Yes, many times.
I have never been to America, but I must go someday. to raise money for my babies in Africa.
You are very religious.
Oh, yeah, since I am a little girl. And Jesus came to visit me in my garden. He spoke to me. And he told me I must work hard to help little babies in Africa.
And I am sure you have done it beautifully, mademoiselle. Now, just one more question for both of you. Are you aware of the identity of the man who was killed last night?
His name was Rashid, and I pray for his soul.
No, my dear. His name was Bruno Cassetti. The Countess told me. And what I pray for is that his soul be damned and that he burn in hell for all eternity.
Princess! Oh!
He murdered a little girl named Daisy Armstrong, and her grandmother is my dearest friend. You would know her as the actress Linda Arden.
She was very great.
Not was, monsieur. She is very great. She remains very much alive and is the greatest actress on the American stage. But when her 5-year-old granddaughter was murdered by this monster Cassetti, she took many years to recover. Indeed, she is not yet recovered.
And there were 4 who died?
No, monsieur, 5. 5 people died. Little Daisy and her mother, who was pregnant, died in childbirth. And the baby died as well. And Daisy's father, Captain Armstrong, could not live with what had happened, and so took his own life, and a housemaid as well. So, you will pardon me, Greta, if I take the position that there is no forgiveness in a case such as this, and that Mr. Cassetti should have been flogged to death, and his body cut up into pieces and thrown into the rubbish heap.
I'm so sorry.
Monsieur McQueen, please sit down.
Of course. Are they all right?
They will be fine, I assure you. Now, tell me, please, what exactly are your duties as secretary to your employer?
Well, I wrote his letters, did his errands and things.
And you know him only as Samuel Ratchet?
How else would I know him?
His real name is Bruno Cassetti.
Holy God, are you sure of that?
Then you know about the Armstrong case?
You bet I do. My father was the district attorney for the state of New York, and he brought the case against that son of a bitch. I'm sorry, but you have no idea what he did to that family, and they were so kind to me.
Can you tell me who was in the Armstrong household?
Mrs. Armstrong had a sister. She went to graduate school, but after the tragedy, she moved to Europe, and I think she got married. Her name was Helena. And also, Mrs. Armstrong's mother would come to visit. She was an actress.
Anyone else?
There was a governess and a baby nurse. And poor Suzanne. She was the French housemaid. She came from Paris. And my father's office thought she might be implicated, and she was so distraught from the accusations that she
killed herself.
I mean, it turned out she was innocent. My father was shattered. He never recovered.
And can you tell me where you were last night between midnight and 2 o'clock?
12 to 2? I was with Colonel Arbuthnot on the observation deck.
And did you see anyone last night you did not recognize?
No, I saw Michelle the conductor, the other conductor, Colonel Arbuthnot, and Miss Debenham.
The other conductor?
There is a second conductor?
I guess so. I saw him.
He was in uniform?
Yeah, the same one Michelle wears.
And what did he look like?
I don't know. He had his hat pulled down. He was small-boned, if you know what I mean. Sort of feminine.
Did you speak with him?
I said hello, and he just kept going.
You have been very helpful. Thank you. You may go. Please, ask Michelle to come see me.
Sure thing. I'll see you later.
I knew we would get a breakthrough. Mrs. Habard was telling the truth. I should have listened. The murderer wore a uniform. The question now is, where did he go?
No, my friend. The question now is, does such a man exist? He could be an invention of McQueen.
But why would he lie? He's not the murderer.
Then why not?
Because he's not the type. It is a crime of passion by someone Italian or Hungarian. A man with blood in his veins.
I have now looked at all the passports, and there is one that troubles me. There's one that has a grease spot on the signature page, and it obscures the first letter of the Christian name, and I believe it is telling.
Who is it?
Knock, knock. Excuse me, but I need to talk to you.
If you could please wait your turn.
No, I cannot wait my turn because you owe me an apology.
I do?
You thought I was crazy.
Pardon, madame, I do not know to what you are referring.
To what I am referring is the man in my room last night. You didn't believe me, but guess what? I have a surprise for you. There was a man and I can prove it. He left a button. Look.
It says Orient Express.
It sure the heck does, and it's just like the ones Michelle wears on his uniform.
And you found it?
On the floor, right as you please, right next to my big toe after I put these tootsies down on the floor when I woke up.
And you waited until now to tell us.
I just woke up. It's called a vacation. And I just heard about Ratchet's murder, and I figured maybe this button guy did it. You see, it all adds up. He goes into Ratchet's room, kills him, and comes out through my room. I wake up at about 1:15 and I see him. Well, I don't see him exactly. I sort of feel his presence. And do you realize he could have strangled me in my bed or shot me or something?
The dead man's name was not Samuel Ratchet, madame. It was Bruno Cassetti. Does that mean anything to you?
No.
What do you know about the Daisy Armstrong case?
You mean that poor kid that got murdered? That was national news. The whole world knew about it. So what?
May I ask where you were last night between midnight and 2 o'clock?
So what, now I'm a suspect? You know, you really should read some detective stories and get some tips.
12 to 2, madame.
I just told you. I was in my room alone around 1 o'clock, and a few minutes later, some man walks in and scares the living bejesus out of me.
Mrs. Hubbard, would you write your name on this page, please?
I beg your pardon?
Your signature, so that I can see your handwriting.
I always thought the French were screwy.
He's from Belgium.
Exactly.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm looking for Miss Debenham.
No, she is not here.
Did you try her room?
I tried everywhere I could think of, but she's gone.
Have you tried the carriages at the back of the train?
Of course I did. I got Michelle to open up all the doors, but she wasn't in any of them.
Well, she cannot be far, monsieur. It's a very small train.
You don't understand, monsieur. There was a murder on this train last night, and that has certain implications, does it not? God, it's her!
What happened?
This way, quickly!
What's going on?
Mary! Hurry! Just step it up! Mary!
Monsieur Bou!
Mary!
Let's hurry!
Mary!
She's here!
Oh, dear God!
What's happening? She's not in here! Try Ratchet's room, Mary!
Push!
Time is of the essence!
My God almighty!
Touch nothing, Countess!
Of course. She's still alive.
Thank God!
Mary?
What happened?
You were shot, for God's sake!
Oh, I need my medical bag.
I'll get it.
Quickly, compartment 12.
Michelle, search the train.
Oui, monsieur.
I'll go with him.
Me too.
Wait, do you have a gun?
There's one in the porter's box for emergencies.
Wait, take it with you. This is not a game.
Yes, sir.
Come quickly.
Can you sit upright?
Yes, I think so. Ow!
Oh, there is a great deal of blood. I do not like blood.
Nobody likes blood. Here's the kit.
Thank you. It is only your arm.
Yes.
You are not hurt elsewhere?
No.
Do not be alarmed. I am merely cutting the sleeve of your blouse open so I can have a better look.
I cannot watch.
Now, as this may hurt a bit, it is, what do you call in English, jod?
Iodine.
Iodine.
Ow!
Be careful, will you?
I'm all right, Colonel.
You are remarkably lucky, Miss Debenham. 2 inches to the left, and it would have been fatal.
Thank God for small blessings.
Countess, may I ask Miss Debenham a question?
You are well enough.
Yes, I think so.
It is very simple, mademoiselle. Who shot you?
I only caught a glimpse. He was...
The what?
Tell us.
It doesn't make any sense. He was wearing a sort of uniform. Oh, but I may have been imagining it.
Can you tell us what happened?
I'll try. I woke up very disoriented, as if I'd been drugged or something. And I had a splitting headache. So I looked in my suitcase for some aspirin and I couldn't find any. So I stumbled out of my room
and I saw that Mrs. Hubbard's door was ajar. And I called out to her, and there was no response, and then, well, I know I shouldn't have, but I went into her room. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's quite all right.
Go on.
Well, my head was splitting by this point, and I wasn't thinking clearly. So I looked in Mrs. Hubbard's makeup bag for some aspirin, and that's when I saw the knife covered with blood.
A knife?
In my bag? Yes.
Where is it?
Oh, I left it there. I was so frightened.
Holy cow, I'll go get it.
Stop! You will not go get it. I will retrieve it when I am ready. Miss Debenham, continue.
Well, let me just say that this does prove that there's a man in my
Mrs.
room.
Hubbard!
I'm sorry.
You talk too much. I beg your pardon.
Miss Debenham?
Yes, well, I was so frightened by the knife that I must have backed into Mr. Ratchet's room. And then I remembered seeing the body covered with blood and wounds, and I screamed, and then I saw the man with the gun, and oh, I don't remember anything else.
It's all right.
Are you sure it was a man?
Well, I think so. I assumed it was. I suppose I'm not positive.
He must have been in this room, behind the door, waiting to escape.
So if I had come in here first, then whammo! No more show-toos in the shower.
And such a loss that would have been.
Mrs. Hubbard, may I ask, where do you keep your makeup bag?
Of course. It's on the back of the door, hanging on the handle. You know, if these compartments were a little bit bigger, I wouldn't have to hang my bag on the door handle like some drama school kid in a Rudolph Trimble operetta living out of a hold all and God knows what.
Oh, I've never seen one like that before.
Now, I will be analyzing this for fingerprints. Now, in the meantime, will you all please leave and do not touch anything as you go? When I am finished in here, I will be in the dining car, and I would like to speak to Miss Debenham.
Now, see here.
If she is able, then Mrs. Hubbard, and then the princess and Miss Olsen again. Countess, will you be so kind as to escort Miss Debenham to her room, please?
Of course. You're strong enough.
I'm feeling much better,
I
thank
see
you.
no reason to put Miss Debenham under any stress at the moment. I suggest you don't.
I will bear that in mind.
I hope you solve this quickly, monsieur. I am not afraid of dying, but I would not like to speed up the process.
I intend to sue this company on the grounds of sheer anxiety.
Eh bien, madame, you are not the only one anxious at the moment.
Zigarette, come in please. We have an emergency. We cannot reach Belgrade and we're 20 miles from the nearest town. We need assistance. Zagreb, come in.
No one. There is no one, I tell you. Not a single person is on this train who should not be here.
And you are positive?
Entirely. It has gone too far. Our lives are in danger.
It is like a magic trick.
It is unbelievable. I told Michel to go on searching. He may find something.
I do not expect so.
Then where did he go, this man who is dressed like a train conductor?
I have no idea. That is the problem. Every time I find a piece of the puzzle, there is a suspect who has an alibi. Colonel Arbut, though, he could have a grudge against Cassetti from a business dealing, but then McQueen gives him an alibi from 12 to 2. They are chatting on the observation deck. Aha! I say, what about Miss Olsen? She is strange. There's something not right about her. But she swears that she and Miss Debenham are up all night chattering in the room they are sharing. There is also Mrs. Hubbard and the princess, and now Miss Debenham has been shot, and I am not the suspects.
Poirot, I brought Miss Debenham as you requested. What do you want with her?
I merely wish to ask her some questions. You may go.
I beg your pardon?
You are not needed for these.
I'm sorry to hear it because I'm staying.
I am sorry also, because you are not.
Now look here, you little Frenchman.
He is Belgian.
I don't care if he's the man of the moon. I'm not leaving her.
It's all right, James. Honestly, I'm sure it won't take very long.
She is correct. I need a mere 10 minutes.
Don't like it, you understand? And you can put that in a meerschaum pipe and smoke it.
That is Sherlock Holmes.
Go to hell.
Oh, Miss Debenham, please, be seated. There is much pain?
Well, it's rather sore, that's all.
Let us all be grateful that it is not worse.
Thank the Lord.
Now, Miss Debenham, yesterday at the hotel, I heard you speaking with the colonel, and you said you were terrified that you would miss the train. Can I ask why it was so important to you?
Oh, it wasn't that at all. I just didn't want to be late.
But you said you wanted to get it over with, get it all behind you. You seemed quite agitated.
I'm afraid you're reading into it. I'm just tremendously punctual.
Pardon, it is my profession. Sometimes I am too imaginative. And you and the colonel are very close, I take it.
Oh, well, we've only met a few days ago. But I guess we have rather hit it off.
And as for the murder, I assume you know the dead man was Bruno Cassetti.
I heard.
And what do you know of the kidnapping?
Nothing really. You see, I've never been to the States.
I see. And what is it that brought you to Istanbul?
I lived with a family for about a year. I'm a governess.
Can you tell me your whereabouts last night between midnight and 2 o'clock?
I was in my room chatting with Miss Olson until quite late. You see, Miss Olson talks quite a bit, especially when she's anxious. I may have dozed off for a moment or two.
I see.
May I go?
You may. Wait, there is one last thing. Will you write your name on this piece of paper, please?
All right. It's a good thing I'm right-handed. I wouldn't be able to sign much of anything with my left right now.
Merci.
Please get some rest, and on behalf of the company, I will have some champagne sent straight to your room.
Oh, thank you so much.
And if there's anything else I can do to help, please let me know. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Oh my God, could you imagine if she had died? Thank goodness, she's such a lovely young woman.
She is more than lovely. She is a complete liar.
Miss Debenham?
She claims she is not well acquainted with the colonel, and yet they are clearly intimat. She said to him she wanted to put something behind her, and now she pretends these words mean nothing.
But she was shot.
In the arm.
It could have killed her.
I wonder.
About what? Ooh la la. You do not suspect her of Cassetti's murder.
It is not impossible.
Oh, but it is impossible. She's cool. She's methodical. She would not stab a man to death. She would sue him in court.
No. You would be wrong if you think this crime is sudden and passionate, mon ami. This is a long-headed crime. I would stake my career on it. Look at these.
Oh, the sleeve of a blouse, so what?
There is a powder burn at the entry point.
Which means?
That the gun was very close to the sleeve when it went off.
Well, so what? The man was 2 feet away.
Pardon, messieurs, but I have finished the search.
And?
Nothing. There's no sign of an intruder anywhere. If you would like, I can show you.
No, say two. Will you now please be so kind as to remove your tunic? I see that all of your buttons are in place, and moreover, each thread for every button here is old, so nothing has been sewn on recently.
That is correct, but may I ask...
Mrs. Hubbard found this button in her room this morning.
It is not mine, monsieur.
So I see, but it matches yours exactly.
It does.
Michelle, are there other attendants on this train at the moment?
There's one in second class, a ticket taker I've known for years.
Is he large or small?
Quite a large, I'm afraid. Shall I ask him to see you?
No, that is quite all right. And what other passengers, besides the ones in this coach, are on the train?
There's hardly anyone at the moment. It is off-season. There's a mother and child on the Belgrade carriage, and that is all.
And could there be a second conductor on the train wearing a uniform like yours?
Oh no, monsieur. I had to earn this uniform with many years of service. However...
Oui?
Well, frankly, I'm not sure I trust her word, but Miss Olson tells me that she saw what she calls a second conductor on the train last night.
Miss Olsen.
Oui, she told me this morning.
She did not tell us this morning.
She said that he was wearing a uniform just like mine, and when she spoke to him, he did not respond. In fact,
What? Tell me quickly.
the princess tells me she also saw this man last night.
Oh la la, oh la la, oh la la.
What is it?
This is just the kind of clue I've been waiting for. Michel, come with me. I will need your help quickly. Monsieur Book, we shall be right back. Do not move.
But where are you going?
You will see in a moment. Pardon, madame. We will be right back.
I thought you wanted to question me.
I do. Just stay where you are.
Well, that was exciting. As if we need any more excitement around here. Now listen, you, I want my passport back. What if there's another shooting and we have to make a run for it? Can you imagine me wandering through Yugoslavia without a passport? They'd shoot first and ask questions later. Who are you? Well, I'm Mrs. Helen Hubbard from the Minneapolis Golf and Racket Blam! No more mahjong.
You have been extremely patient, madame, and believe me, I am grateful. If there's ever anything I can do to thank you, I am at your service.
You know, you remind me of one of my husbands.
Which one?
The next one.
No, please put it back. It is my suitcase. You may not take it.
He must have a reason.
I have an absolute reason.
Please stop.
Monsieur Poirot!
Miss Olsen, you must permit me to take a look in your suitcase.
But they are private things. It has my undergarments.
Monsieur Poirot, really?
Miss Olsen, we will look at nothing that will embarrass you. You have my promise. Wait, I have an idea. Princess, will you be so kind as to assist me?
I suppose.
Miss Olsen, Michelle tells me you saw a second conductor on the train last night. Is this correct?
Yeah.
And what did he look like?
He was small, like a woman.
That is correct. I saw him as well.
Ah, bon. That is perfect. It seems everyone on this train has seen the second conductor, except for myself and Monsieur. So, the question now is, where did he go? Is he hiding on the train? If he were wearing a uniform like this, we could spot him quickly. Therefore, at least one conclusion is that he has hidden his uniform and done so in the luggage of one of the passengers.
But why choose me? There are other suitcases. Try the other ones first.
Princess, will you be so kind as to raise the lid and tell us what you see inside?
Oh, it is the uniform.
I have never seen it before. I have hurt no one ever. I would not do such a thing. I am not a murderer.
Now, I am not accusing you. You have done nothing wrong.
I have done nothing wrong.
Mr. Book, does the jacket have all of its buttons in place?
No, there is one missing.
And there you go. Are you surprised by that?
Wait, there's something more. Ooh la la, mon Dieu. It's a passkey for the doors on the train.
And that would explain how he got into my room.
Now, mademoiselle, just tell me, when was the last time you looked in your suitcase?
It was yesterday. Used after we boarded.
So, someone could have hidden it this morning after you left the room.
I have no idea. I have never seen it before.
Monsieur Poirot, I must insist that you stop bullying poor Miss Olsen in this manner. She is simply not up to it the way the rest of us are.
You are correct. Forgive me. Will you now be so kind as to help Miss Olsen back to her room? And take Mrs. Hubbard with you. I need to speak with the Countess alone for a moment, if you do not mind.
Well, of course we mind. Every time things get juicy around here, you throw us out again.
Would you stop with your gossip mongering?
Me? Your mouth's open so much I can count your teeth.
What a pleasure to learn you know how to count, bird brain.
If I'm a bird brain, then you're a communist.
I am not a communist. I am in exile.
From your husband, no doubt, who couldn't wait to get rid of you.
And who's the one with all the divorces?
My husbands were unfaithful.
And This surprises you?
Ladies, we are all a little worked up at the moment. Please, this way.
Thank you.
You seem troubled.
I am getting more and more concerned.
That another crime will occur.
No, that I will solve this one. Countess, what is your maiden name?
Goldenberg, as you see in the passport.
Oui. And now you go by Andrini.
My husband's name.
Of course. The Countess Andrini. And I believe your first name is Elena.
That is correct. Am I a suspect?
I merely ask questions. That is my job.
I thought we were friends.
It is my greatest wish. But please, indulge me. This morning, I was examining your passport and I noticed a grease spot at the beginning of your name, Elena. The spot obscures the first letter and you could easily hide another letter, such as H. Now, if you add an H to the beginning of the name, it becomes Helena, which was used by Shakespeare in A Midsummer Night's Dream.
That is true.
The kind of name an actress might choose for her daughter.
I suppose.
An actress such as Linda Arden, the grandmother of little Daisy Armstrong.
If you say so.
And the name Linda Arden is itself a stage name, surely. And the word Arden was the maiden name of Shakespeare's mother, and also the name of the forest in his play entitled...
As you like it.
You know your Shakespeare well for a Hungarian.
I have studied Shakespeare since I was a child.
Yes, I know. I believe your mother, Linda Arden, taught it to you. And that would make you the aunt of little Daisy Armstrong. The aunt who went to graduate school, got a degree in medicine, then moved to Europe and got married.
I do not know this woman, but I would imagine that she still suffers from the loss of her niece and her sister.
My dear, there is no use denying it. When the train gets underway again and we reach the next city, a simple telegram will get me a photograph of Daisy's aunt, and then it will be all over.
But I didn't kill him. I should have, but I didn't. I didn't even know who he was until you discovered it. But then, when you did, I realized that if you knew that I was Daisy's aunt, then you would think that I killed him because he was blackmailer, such a swine, and the murderer of a darling, sweet, innocent child who deserved to live.
My dear, really?
It's the truth, I swear to God. But I'll tell you this. If I had known who he was, that he was Bruno Cassetti, the man who stole two of the people I love most in this world, I would have pushed the dagger through his chest myself. And believe me, no other wounds would have been necessary.
Hello? Can you hear me? I'm calling Zagreb Station. Can you hear me, Zagreb? This is Constantine Book of the Orient Express.
We are hearing you, Monsieur Book. You are loud and clear.
We remain in the snowdrift in the Polinsky Pass. Where are you?
We have been delayed, Monsieur, but should reach you presently. How are conditions?
We are losing heat and light, provisions are low, the passengers are angry, and we have a dead man rotting in stowage. How are things with you?
I want to know what the hell's going on.
He wrote me a note and said to meet him here.
He wrote me the same thing.
I find this ridiculous. Where's that little Frenchman hiding? Is he being mysterious again?
He sent me a note to join him here.
I received one also.
Well, he's obviously up to something, the little weasel.
Pardon.
Oh,
Pardon. Pardon. I have kept you waiting and I apologize. I had to, how do you say, get my ducks in a row.
Ducks? What ducks?
It is an expression, Greta. Drive me crazy.
Please, all of you be seated. I have an announcement to make. Ladies and gentlemen, I have called you together in order to reveal to you the killer of Bruno Cassetti.
You're kidding.
No.
I don't believe it.
You know who did it?
I believe that I do. But first, I must interrogate one of the last passengers on this train who has yet to answer any of my questions. Colonel Arbuthnot.
Me?
James?
Do you have a problem answering my questions, monsieur?
No, of course not.
Oh, excellent. Now, in the course of your service to your country, did you know an officer named Charles Armstrong?
No.
Have you heard of him?
Oh, yes, of course. We served in the same theater of action, but we never met.
Have you heard of the Daisy Armstrong case?
Yes. She was a little girl who was killed by some brute who was out for money.
And did you know that Colonel Armstrong was Daisy's father?
No, we didn't.
Or that he took his own life after the tragedy?
I'm sorry to hear it.
Colonel, at the hotel in Istanbul, I overheard you say to Miss Debenham, you wish she was out of all this. What did you mean?
I have no idea.
Then she said no one should see you together until it was all behind you. Until what was behind you?
I can't imagine.
Are you aware you are obstructing justice?
I'm aware of no such thing.
And you, mademoiselle, can you explain what you meant?
I told you already. I just wanted to get the trip over with.
And I think you're lying.
Now look here.
Sit down, Colonel. I am still talking. Now tell me what you meant at the hotel. You wanted to get her out of what? She wanted to get what behind her?
I'm married, all right? I'm in the process of getting a divorce, which I desire, because my wife is seeing another man. But I'll lose my case in court if it's known that I'm socializing with a woman. After the divorce is behind us, then we can stop hiding. But that's why we try to keep it private, no thanks to you.
Well, you have been doing a very poor job of it, I am afraid.
Well, some of us have emotions, Poirot. Oh, I'm sure that you would sell out your own mother if it would solve one of your damn cases. But I don't think you know what the hell you're doing.
No, I know exactly what I am doing. I am investigating the murder of Bruno Cassetti.
Well, he deserved to die.
Ah! So you know who he is?
Well, yes, they told me.
Oh, but you did not know before they told you? And you were not friends with the colonel in the war? You did not save lives together as you fought with the Indian army in the northern frontier? You did not swear fidelity and friendship with this man at the time of your trial by fire together. And now, you don't even give him the respect he deserves after all the tragedy and loss he had to endure before he took his own life.
Shut up, you little carpet ninny. What do you know?
What are you doing?
Loyalty, and you got out!
You have been telling me lies, n'est-ce pas? Everyone in this room has been telling me lie after lie. But make no mistake, I know who killed Bruno Cassetti, and I know precisely how it was accomplished.
Well, we're listening.
The facts could not be more simple. At 5 o'clock last evening, this train left Istanbul on its way to Calais, with stops in between. At approximately 12:30 last night, it hit a snowdrift and was forced to stop. And at 10 o'clock this morning, Mr. Cassetti was found dead with 8 stab wounds to the chest. These are the facts. C'est tout, c'est fini. However, these facts permit 2 possible solutions to the crime. Under the first solution, one of Cassetti's enemies boarded the train and brought with him a wagonly uniform which he later put on. Then, last night, using the pass key to enter Cassetti's compartment, he stabbed the man 8 times, then left through the door into Mrs. Hubbard's compartment.
Which is what I have been telling you.
Hear, hear.
Well done, my friend. You have solved the case.
I would not get too excited. He has yet not finished, have you, monsieur?
Let me propose a second solution. Because 2 unexpected events made the first solution impossible. The first event was the snow, which forced the train to stop. It meant that the killer now had a very big problem. Where could he go? He could not get off at the next train station because there was no next train station. So, unless the killer can fly, he must still be among us on this train. He must be one of you.
You said there were 2 unexpected events. We just can't wait to hear the other one.
The second event was the discovery of a fragment of a letter that said, "Remember little Daisy Armstrong." And from this fragment we know that the killer was not some random enemy of Cassetti, but someone who came to avenge the death of a 5-year-old child. Am I being fair about this, Miss Debenham? What do you think?
I suppose so.
Excellent. Now, with these facts in mind, the second solution took root, and little by little it blossomed into all its terrible ruthlessness. The first clue leading to this solution appeared within an hour of my arrival at Istanbul, when I learned that there was not a single ticket left in the first-class coach of the Orient Express.
It is never sold out at this time of year. That is ridiculous.
And it was ridiculous. Why was this train so suddenly full? But thanks to Monsieur Book, I had a berth on the train, and soon, on the platform, I met the most astonishing company of actors.
Monsieur Poirot, I look forward to hearing of your wonderful adventures.
Princess Dragomirov, how lovely to see you.
I have agreed to pay her way if she will assist me as I travel to Paris.
I am not married except to God Almighty who lives in heaven.
Hungarian, French, Russian, Swedish. What were all these people doing on the same train? Something was amiss. It was like looking at a painting by Pablo Picasso. Over there is an eye behind an ear on top of a nose. And nothing was normal. Consider the moment in the corridor last night.
Help! Someone come quickly, help!
Mrs. Hamad, what is it?
There was a man in my room. He ran off. I'm sure of it.
Which way did he go?
That way, just this second.
But, madame, that is where I'm coming from, and I saw no one. How is this possible?
How should I know?
And then came the murder itself. A businessman dies in a locked room in a torrent of almost unspeakable violence.
They're gone! It's awful!
Do you see his chest?
It is horrible.
I could not believe it.
And then it was time to inspect the body. The Countess and I found not 1, not 2, but 8 stab wounds to the chest.
Perhaps the man changed hands during the stabbing.
Or there were 2 assailants.
One strong, one weak.
And after that, I was offered a feast of clues. The open window, the wine, the gun, until one clue of real importance was at last discovered. The broken watch.
It is stopped at 1:15.
Aha, at last. It is at the time of death.
But for me, the importance of the watch was not the time that it told, but the place it was found. In Mr. Cassetti's pajama pocket. An unlikely place to keep a watch, don't you think? Do you sleep with a watch in your pajamas? Do you? Or you? Of course you do not. It would be uncomfortable, which led me to conclude that the watch was deliberately placed so that I would think that the time of death was 1:15, when every single person on this train has an alibi. But in fact, Mr. Cassetti did not die until after 2 o'clock, when absolutely no one has an alibi.
You know, I don't think we need to be subjected to a performance.
Sit down, Mrs. Hubbard. As for who actually killed Cassetti, the second real clue was found on the floor near the body. The handkerchief, with the letter H in the fabric. And now, I return it to its rightful owner, Princess Natalia Dragomirov.
But my initial is an N.
Except in Russian. In the Cyrillic alphabet, the letter N is written like the letter H in English.
Thank you. I must have dropped it.
And that leaves the most puzzling occurrence of the entire case. As some of you will recall, I was speaking with the Colonel and Mrs. Hubbard when suddenly there was a scream and a gunshot. But this was no ordinary scream and gunshot, my friends. It was a fabrication. So fantastic and elaborate that for a moment, even I was confused.
My God, it's her! What happened?
Baby!
Within moments of seeing Miss Debenham on the floor, I knew it was all a sham. A performance. Why would a man only 2 feet away merely graze the victim in the arm? And why would I find a powder burn on the sleeve of the blouse where the bullet entered? Because she fired the bullet herself, then dropped the gun and fell to the floor.
Nonsense.
I'd have to be crazy.
Exactly. Crazy. That all committed totally to a course of action that meant everything to you. 4 people on this train were friends or family of Daisy Armstrong. Do you not find this incredible?
My father brought the case against that son of a bitch.
Her grandmother is my dearest friend.
He deserved to die.
I would imagine that she still suffers from the loss of her niece.
And if there were 4, could there be 6 or 8? Could Miss Debenham not have been young Daisy's governess at the time of the kidnapping?
I lived with the family for about a year. I'm a governess.
And Greta Olsen, who has been a baby nurse for many years. May we not suppose she was Daisy's nurse on Long Island?
I am missionary, and I work in Africa with little babies.
And as for Michelle, it struck me from the beginning that a scheme like this could not be accomplished without someone on the inside. Let's say a conductor who could come and go as he pleased. And then I recalled the maid, Suzanne, who took her own life, was from Paris, like Michelle. And I wondered, could this unfortunate girl be Michelle's sister who went to work in America? And that leaves one last passenger on this train not accounted for. It leaves Mrs. Hubbard, who has certainly turned in the finest performance of the evening. It is not hard to see that she is an actress by profession, the grandmother of little Daisy Armstrong, the great Linda Arden, who dazzles so many audiences during her distinguished career.
Come on in here, come on in here, Alexander's Ragtime Band.
Mrs. Hubbard, I salute you, and I assume you masterminded this from the beginning.
Is this true?
I always wanted to be a director.
And so, in the end, the murder was committed. There were 8 stab wounds to the body. Some strong, some weak, some left-handed, some right-handed. And there were 8 killers. You planned this together. You killed together. And in the name of justice, you played God together.
For that little girl. For my sister, you pig!
For Charles.
For Daisy.
For little Daisy.
For my father.
For my darling Daisy.
For my grandchild.
And now, my friends, what am I to do? It cannot be long before the Yugoslavian police arrive, at which time I must tell them the truth. N'est-ce pas?
You mean the truth, of course, about the second conductor.
Anything else would be complete injustice.
On the contrary, it is the only justice. If Under the law, if you commit a murder, you must pay the price.
But it was Cassetti who murdered the little girl.
And did that give you the right to kill him?
Of course it did. He killed 5 people for ransom money. And he done it before and he'd do it again. So now it's time for you to turn around and walk away and leave us alone.
No, it is not. It is not that time. I have never in my life turned my back against the law. Do you understand that, Colonel? The law must be obeyed, or we become barbarians. It is 1934. Europe is changing, and there will be chaos. There will be nothing left of us, and we will have to start again. I cannot support these. I cannot agree to these.
But he was a monster, Monsieur Perrault. You know he was.
But I cannot. I cannot just...
May a humble actress speak her piece?
Please do, my dear.
Monsieur Poirot, we are in your hands and we acknowledge it. But would you really have preferred it if Bruno Cassetti had gotten away scot-free? Is that the sort of justice you're after? Look at it this way. You have a complete solution staring you in the face. You have the button. You have the uniform. And you have 3 reliable witnesses who saw this man in the corridor. And certainly you're not calling all of us liars. Because if you did that, there will be months of trials. And lives will be damaged, even more than they have been already. And a great many people will have to relive the most terrible moment of all of their lives. More terrible than any human being should ever have to experience. Is that what you want? Look in your heart and tell us what you want.
You put me to the test, madame. And I am greatly troubled. Monsieur Bouc, my friend, you are the director of the Wagon Lee. What do you say?
In my opinion, the first solution you put forward is entirely correct. We had a deadly intruder disguised as a conductor, and I believe that is the solution you should offer the police.
Allah, my friends, may you go with God. And I hope that He gives you the strength you'll need to get on with your lives.
James.
The crews have arrived!
Praise the Lord! See, I told you everyone will
thank God!
Monsieur Perrault! We are... Monsieur Perrault!
Monsieur Poirot!
Monsieur Perrault!
Monsieur Poirot!
Down where?
And so, the case was over at last, and the passengers went their separate ways. I have learned since that time that Miss Olsen did in fact get to Africa, for the first time, as it turned out. And she did work with the children and saved many lives. The Colonel and Miss Debenham married in a quiet ceremony in St. James Square. Monsieur McQueen returned to his business, Michel to his trains, and the princess left us for the great beyond. The Countess, alas, returned to her husband. Monsieur Bouc and I have remained good friends. And Mrs. Hubbard, the great Linda Arden, recently returned to the stage in a musical entitled No, No, Nanette, in which I am told she brings the audiences to their feet. Meanwhile, I beg you to believe me when I tell you I wish all of them well. And I hope that they prosper until the end of their days. But at night, in the darkness when I am all alone, I ask myself again and again, was this justice? Did I do the right thing? And on many such nights, it is not until morning that I can close my eyes.